mental checklist that we run through when leaving the house. Phone, wallet, keys. Did I feed the cat? This is a pretty simple account of your most frequently used possessions and one responsibility. But now I'm interested to see how many people consider this checklist. Is my cell phone fully charged, and do I have my charger cable with me? Are my clothes appropriate? Have I told a friend, partner, or family member where I'm going? Should I carry pepper spray? The second list is aimed at safety in public spaces. The idea that we need to predict and navigate the uncertainties of our environment in order to remain as safe as possible throughout the day. Now let's expand this list to the nighttime and include a social environment. Should I park my car in this scarcely lit garage? Should I go to this party by myself, especially when I've never been to this club or bar before? I looked away from my drink for a few seconds and the club is really full. Should I carry on drinking from it? And should I get into this elevator with a bunch of drunk guys who are leaving the party at the same time as me? While at no point did I specify a gender that these lists are more relevant to, when I list these concerns and considerations, how many of you assumed I was speaking about women? And how many of you related to this because you are a woman? By drawing conclusions based on your lived experience, or making assumptions based on the privilege of never having to consider these factors, we highlight a devastating reality in South Africa. Between 2015 and 2017, Statistics South Africa reported a 117% increase in the murder rate for women, and a 53% increase in the number of women who have experienced a sexual offense. I work in the music industry. Entertainment lifestyle is notoriously hedonistic and unregulated. My industry is not exempt from this country's harrowing rate of gender-based violence. There's just very few people taking it seriously. Music business and the entertainment industry has always been a boys' club, where a favorable deal helps turn a blind eye to indiscretions, and accountability is just a really long word that no one can spell. When a system is supported by the majority, the perspective of the minority is rarely considered. Safer spaces are not a concern for someone who has never felt unsafe. And diversity is not a priority for someone who benefits from a culture of privilege. But safer spaces and diversity are not mutually exclusive and should be regarded as equal priorities by music industry leaders. Without emphasizing the need and importance of diversity, the acknowledgement and understanding of our safety needs will rarely be achieved. Women, LGBTQ, and gender non-conforming individuals are a marginalized group within the music industry. The music industry's lack of diversity reveals itself in several ways. As artists, selection pools, which is the group of artists considered for lineups, are not based on merits, but rather on the favor of the predominantly male perspective, which does not seek to expand its knowledge on a more diverse array of artists. As patrons, events and event spaces are geared towards the male pleasure experience, either through the approach to marketing or the programming of the events. Artwork features hypersexualized imagery with the sex sells goal in mind. Venues have strict dress code policies that insist that women must wear high heels, but men are allowed to wear sneakers. And events promote things like women in free before a certain time to fill up the venue to attract men that will spend money. August in South Africa is Women's Month. It's a contentious time of the year when events prioritize women artists in order to not anger the ancestors. No, wait. Oh, to honor the spirit of diversity. I've got my fairy tales mixed up. This year, I played an event where upon arrival at the venue, the bouncers actually laughed at me when I said I was there to DJ. At the same event, the DJ playing after me was asked to leave the booth by a bouncer because he assumed she was a groupie and didn't understand that she was also there to play. The fact that these men had never encountered this many women in one room trying to do their job makes me think that this venue had previously not seen any women play there at all. So when so much focus is placed on a particular perspective, it's unsurprising when spaces become unsafe. The encouragement of toxic backstage culture and zero consequence hedonism promotes the acceptance of things like open use of drugs, overindulgence, and turning a blind eye to bad behavior. This leads to unreported cases of harassment and abuse because it's regarded as part of the norm. And if a person has a reputation to protect or has a social standing, their indiscretions are overlooked so as not to ruin their careers. So music industry leaders, you can act effectively and immediately to effect positive change in this industry. Empower your staff and your teams with knowledge and sensitivity training to deal with matters like how to diffuse a fight, how to address people without prejudice, and how to keep your patrons safe. Remove gender as a basis for selection, including artists based on merits, where things like experience, skill level, and suitability for the event are factors, and never as a means to fulfill a quota. Work actively to include marginalized individuals within your venues and event spaces, and not just as a token effort to silence critics for short-term gains. And in terms of marketing material, whether imagery or language used, make sure that it applies to the event and the artists alone. A few years ago, I called out a promoter for using a stock photo image of a woman showering as event artwork. I just struggled to understand how this was at all relevant to the event or the artists. The promoter swiftly changed the artwork and apologized for their ill choice. But here's the tough question. Are you aware that your language and conduct could be divisive and exclusionary? And what can you do to rectify this immediately? Using sexuality and gender identifiers as derogatory terms, misgendering, and the incorrect use of pronouns enters the daily narrative of many. Your words have impact. Use them carefully and show people respect. When in doubt, use they or them. And please, please stop telling us that we're really great for a girl. Your body language, tone, and voice volume are critical. By using your size to be physically intimidating, or by speaking too loud and aggressively when addressing someone, you communicate a threatening tone that will betray even your best intentions in a social interaction. If you've ever noticed someone take a step back or adopt a defensive stance in a conversation with you, this may be due to your actions. Learn to listen and acknowledge the word no. And listen when people tell you that they're uncomfortable around you. Imagine you're standing in a really busy bar by yourself, and the person next to you offers to buy you a drink. You decline politely, but they ask you again and again and again. Each time you decline, you become more uncomfortable. Maybe if you just say yes, they'll leave you alone. So you accept the drink, say thank you, and you try to walk away. But the person grabs your arm, and they ask you where you're going, never quite loosening their grip. It's in this moment that you realize you've signed a verbal contract that has awarded the stranger your undivided attention. I mean, of course not, but that's what the drink buyer believes. In my own experience in these scenarios, there's 3 plans of action. You can lie about having a boyfriend or girlfriend waiting for you somewhere. You can say you're going to the bathroom and leave the club entirely. Or you can try to find security or a staff member to help you. In each case, ditch the drink and prioritize your safety. Aggressive and persistent advances are huge red flags for drink spiking and escalated harassment. But the real challenge for all of you, call out your friends and those around you when they behave and speak incorrectly, and stop supporting spaces, people, and events that are discriminatory and unsafe. The challenges we face within this industry are a direct reflection of our societal struggles. The discrimination, aggression, and abuse filters through every element of our lives. If we can achieve even the smallest amount of reform in an industry that is based on hedonism, sexualization, and commercial gain, we can help create a framework to adopt policies in any industry with a proven case study of its efficacy. So rather than this industry's issues being a reflection of society, perhaps society can become a reflection of this industry's successes.